Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. When is marriage to your Filipino wife like a sport? I'll let you know my comparisons to sports. As a big sports fan, I often can't help but see things happen on the field and kind of relate that into like a marriage. In sports, you often hear with new players playing together for the first time, they have to get used to each other. They don't know each other well yet. And so after that, then they can become a more cohesive team. And I'll mention some other ways here. Feel free to comment if you've noticed anything like this in your relationship with a Filipina. I married a woman from the Philippines back in 2015. And please check out the Linktree link above, and you can see my website and where I met my wife. In sports, there is competition. That's just part of the nature of competitors playing a game and keeping score. However, in a marriage, keeping score, I think, is a bad idea because then nobody wins and everybody loses. It's not even really like a tie. It's a double defeat. So keeping score, I think, is a bad idea. I don't like the idea of a 50-50 relationship. I think there are different times when the husband and wife might be helping each other more than other times. It just kind of depends on the situation. If I end up with a knee replacement or something, my wife's going to be doing more to take care of me than normally would, and I might not be able to get around as much, for example. But keeping score is bad. You don't want to say things like, you're not, I'm doing the dishes more than you're doing the laundry, or I add this all up and I'm spending more minutes a week doing chores than you are, or I'm making too many trips for running errands. Those things just have to be figured out. And so that would be a way of keeping score. Or the money you spend, you don't want to say like, oh, I noticed you just spent $400 on something. Well, I get to spend $400 on something now. I guess I look at it as a 100% situation, both ideally, and it never works out this way, but ideally you're both trying as hard as you can to be good for the other person. Sometimes in sports, things get heated, competition and not wanting to lose, or you got a bad break, or you don't understand me. Things get heated just like they do in relationship. And you're with a woman from the Filipina, different country, different culture, you probably maybe have an age gap. There's a lot of newness going on, and sometimes it's hard to understand each other, and so things get heated. And that can happen in relationship too, just like it can in sports. And in sports, sometimes it's teammates, not the other team, but you're within the team. Sometimes there are little skirmishes that break out, or coach and player, and that's never good for the team. In sports, someone loses. In marriage, you'd like to think that you want to both, be winners in marriage. And marriage is certainly not a game or a sport. And, you can go on a losing streak as soon as you got on a winning streak. So, every day you need to bring your best and hope to try to be part of a winning team. Also in sports, the good side is for relationships, and that's there's cooperation. You can't be a winning team in sports if there's not cooperation. And you put in their egos. If you got a lot of egos in sports, well, those players want the ball, they want the playing time, and maybe they feel like it's owed to them instead of having to earn it. And so then if they're not going to be cooperative, then they're going to have egos, they want to stand out, then they're probably not going to win, because cooperation takes somebody being selfless, leading the way. And I think that's what the husband has to do. He has to be like a point guard in basketball that just doesn't care how many points he scores. He wants to get the assists. He wants to see that W on the scoreboard. That's what matters to that winning point guard. So as husbands or their wives, we should want to be like a point guard, not the leading scorer on the team. And also in sports, there's a lot of encouragement. When there's losses, and it gets harder to go out every day and lift and practice and do everything you have to do, and so they need somebody to encourage them to keep going, keep pushing through when things get tough. And in marriage, we both have to encourage each other. And when I was single, I sought out people for certain form of encouragement if they could relate to me. With my wife, I can see where she needs help and I can encourage her, and she can encourage me, and it means a lot when it comes from her. Also, in sports, you have to bounce back from losses, bad plays, bad games. Same thing in marriage. You're going to have your disagreements, your spats, and you're going to have to bounce back from that, and you're going to want to help her. If she's had a bad day at work or something back home is on her mind and bothering her, you want to help her to bounce back from that. But more often, or I should say probably most importantly, the attitude of never give up. In sports, you've seen great comebacks, right? You give them up for dead, there's no chance they can win, and they wouldn't win. They couldn't have a chance if they gave up, if they let up, took their foot off the gas. We always have to be positive in a relationship with a Filipina or any wife. Never give up. And my wife needs to know, I'm not giving up on you. I don't want her to take advantage of me, of course, but what I'm telling her is to have the confidence that I'm with you. Whatever happens, happens, and we don't know what's going to happen. But I'm never going to give up on you. I'm not going anywhere. You're my number one choice. That's why I married you, and it's going to stay that way because that's just the way she has to look at it. And we're going to try to win, and we're never going to say it's over and throw in the towel. Sports, also like relationships, offers times to celebrate when things go well, and you better enjoy them because in sports, it's off to the next play or off the next game. And in marriage, you might have one great day, and then you're at each other again the next day, or something, you get some bad news. So celebrate life with your Filipino wife, and make sure you form a great team with your love beyond the sea.